Hello, my name is Justin Hickman. I'm with Virtus Band. Today is June 7th, 2023. Today I'm going to continue with our series of streams for building an app using modularization. Let me go ahead and switch over to my display. I did switch back since the last stream. I did switch back to the Thomas Breuer Maven plugin for the GWT stuff, and I was able to get it to work. Lucky enough, because I can actually see my core module, and that is under the core module. It's under this package or project right here, and it's actually the entry point for the core. And I was playing around with some of this stuff. So with the component, the reason I was getting some errors before, that's weird. I swore I was. Yeah, I am inheriting from core. I think there's just something weird with the IntelliJ plugin and using the Thomas Breuer Maven plugin, because for some reason it just doesn't want to recognize this Maven mod or GWT module. I don't know, we're just going to play around with it. Maybe I'll switch back at some point. I do not know. If we're just going to keep this or not. But whenever I refresh, we can see that it actually executes from the core module, as well as the main entry point. And I just wanted to make sure that that was occurring. The other thing to understand is with the scopes, I was having a compilation error before because I was providing a singleton on this method, and that was because I forgot to apply the same scope to the component itself, and that's pretty important to do. We could do something, so maybe in the core package, I might actually add a an annotation for module scope. And basically all this is going to do is actually provides us our own custom scope, which will be kind of nice. So here, all we have to do is add scope. We can give it a retention of runtime. And I don't know if this is needed or not. Forgot what that's for. Yeah, we'll look at that later. So this is a module scope for any app module. And scopes are really important whenever you actually have like nested modules, because just like with Spring, if you've ever done dependency injection or the just Spring container stuff, you can actually have multiple containers, and each one can depend on the beans that are defined in a parent container. So then, like in the module scope, if we have this extend like the core scope, we would be able to import or use all of the injections that are provided from the core scope component. And same thing with Spring. So it's very handy to know. All right, so what else can we do? Basically, today I'm hoping to be able to create maybe a couple of modules and have them self-register and provide some mechanism so that we can add and remove for development purposes. We could do something long-term for modules that may want to load at runtime. So if you had multiple compilations of GWT, I just don't want to pull out into JS Interop or anything like that to support something like that. So I'm just going to have it as a development time modularization. All right, so what I want to do now, let's go ahead and create maybe a menu registry. That'll probably be somewhat simple. Is all complaining. Yeah, I have no idea why it's doing that. Let's see. See, it didn't change any module files. I just don't think that it knows that there is a module here, only because it's a module.gwt.xml. Unlike what the plugin is expecting, it's expecting this to be in a certain package under source main resources with the other module name in it. And that's why whenever we were creating a run config before, we were unable to see any of the other modules because it didn't think that there were any GWT modules in the package space. Just don't know how to get rid of these warnings. Yeah, I don't think I can do anything about it. Edit inspection profile setting. I mean, this is just the other GWT one. I like that it underlines for GWT module, but if it doesn't recognize the other GWT module, that's going to be a problem. So let's take a look at the project structure real quick. Yeah, you can see here, well, it does have quick compiler output is not included in an artifact. Because, I mean, this is created as part of the compilation. Or actually, yeah, this is client. Let's take a look at core. Yeah. Include. No. Well, I am not entirely sure. Because it is highlighted here, or checked. So you would think, let's take a look at that again. And it does have the Google GWT core in it, and I think that's what it's wanting, right? Inherit. Wouldn't this have the events? Maybe I'm just wrong. But for the fact that it compiles, means that something is inheriting it. Well, let's try inherits name equals event. Did that fix it? Ah, that fixed it. Okay. I was looking at the wrong module apparently. Okay. So that takes care of that. So that's good. So it has nothing to do with the IntelliJ. It does seem to pull off the target compiled generated. Because if we go under classes, modularization, we can see core, and this is what is generated, but that is not showing up in here. I'm pretty sure if we compile, maybe? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's kind of screwy. Because of the fact that IntelliJ wants to do its own build, but then you have the Maven stuff. It can be confusing at times. All right. So menu registry. So let's make something really simple. Let's go into our app, and right now we have this, which is basically just creating the main layout. Which is this right here. So I want to actually create a navigation. So if we go over to demo.dominouikit or dominokit.org, take a look at that app layout. We're probably going to want some sort of left panel. I think we have to do this as separate steps. Layout.show. All right, so layout, get left panel, and then we can append what other children that we want. Let's figure out which kind of component we want. I mean, we could always just do like a tree. Tree of string. Well, let's see what that does. See if it adds the tree. Obviously, it doesn't have any data in this tree. So we might want to go ahead and add some data. Pen child, tree item, create foo. Let's just add some meta-syntactic variables and see if they are added to this tree. Yep, there they are. Okay, so that's good. That means that we could probably inject ourselves with the core module. So let's think about how that's going to happen. I'm looking at my notes real quick. I have some stuff for the base feature, but All right, so let's take a look at our core module. All right, so right now we're only providing an event bus, and that was just a, proof of concept, what we were trying to do before. We might actually change this a little bit, because this would be like a global or a core type event bus. But we also want to have a singleton. Provides singleton static, public static, menu registry. There we go. Of course, we don't need to do that. We can probably just bind. Probably makes sense to change this into an interface. And let's go ahead and create a implementation class. Here we go. I prefer being able to do it this way. All right, so in that particular case, we could probably just do like a bind. So if we go back into the core module, let's go ahead and put that over here so that we can see it easier. Hopefully my face doesn't cover it. And since this is abstract, this is perfectly fine. We want to be able to bind abstract menu registry to a menu registry impl. Here we go. So basically, what this does is it does self-injection. It'll create an instance of whatever you put here, and it binds it to this interface. So then whenever anything is being injected with this interface, it will use this singleton. And of course, this allows the menu registry to be injected as well. So we should create a public instructor with the inject keyword on it, just so, or annotation, so that it can be auto injected as well. Because you can't, yeah, Dagger is very picky. So it's not like Spring where it only injects things that have the inject. You have to have inject on basically anything that you have in here. Otherwise, you could use a provide and actually instantiate it like this, rather than binding it, because it wouldn't be able to use that as an injection because we don't have access to that source code. All right, so here's a menu registry. And we should be able to get that injected into the application. All right, so in here, we're probably also going to want some sort of dependency injection. So if we go into here, you know, we don't have any code yet, but let's go ahead and create a, wait, this is on server. I was in the wrong project. All right, so if we create a package, IOC, let's go ahead and create a application component. And this is going to be an interface, I believe. I'm making very generic names here. And this is a module. That's basically it on that. And here I can actually start up my my dependency injection. So if I want inside of my component, let's create a shell. So maybe under here, I can create a new class called, or package, view, shell. And right now I'm just going to use it as a class. And we can inject into that. I'm probably going to be injecting the menu registry. Right, and then in the app, we should be able to, let's see. Oops. Might want to create a application inject helper. This will be a very simple class. Helper class for the application component. And all of this is going to do is provide the application component and automatically do the injections. So if I have private static application component, public static application component, provide application component, and if application component is null, then application component equals dagger application component builder build. We can probably do some extra stuff in here, but let's go ahead and run a compile so that we can get the code generated because of the dagger stuff. Oh, well, yeah, I might have to remove this for the time being. I need to hook in the core module as a parent module. Oh, well, yeah. But that did generate the other code that I was looking for. So it was able to generate the Dagger application component builder. And then we should be able to, outside of here, return application component. But we actually want to get the core component. And to do that, we basically have to tell our application component that we have not only the application module here as the module, we also have a dependency, which is going to be the core component. I mean, we don't need the braces here, but that's fine. They're arrays, so you can actually specify multiple modules here for each component, but then you have dependencies, and here we're depending on the core component. And I should probably make this a module scope. This is just going to be parallel to all of the other modules for now. I can figure out that stuff later. Simple enough to change. All right, so now if we do autocomplete here, we can see that it doesn't really have much underneath the application component. But if we were to recompile now, because of the fact that we have these this dependency, now it'll have core component, right? So that is very nice. So we need probably like a core injection helper. Similar to this inject helper, we want something in the other core. Basically, we need something that's holding onto the instance of the other module. And since these are essentially singletons, the core and the application itself are going to be a single instance. We need to be able to provide those to all of the other modules. So here, let's go ahead and create a core inject helper. And here we'll have the core component. Private static core component. And I'm doing this on purpose to not be eager. It's lazy initialization. If we were to ever change this later, it makes it a little bit easier. Component. If core component equals null, then core component equals dagger core component builder, and then build, and then return core component. That's pretty simple. So then in the application inject helper, we can specify the core component as the core inject helper provide core component. So now we're getting the core component as a dependency to the application component. Let's go ahead and recompile that. Make sure that all of the annotation processors work. All right, so now we should be able to do a menu registry here. Oh wait, that is the wrong place. Let me close that. Come back to this guy. Menu registry, menu registry. Let's see if that works. It's important to do the other compilation because that's how the annotation processor is going to run. All right, cannot be provided without a provides annotation. Core component. Let me just double check my notes. don't see the issue. Oh, you know what? It's because, wow, this is taking me back. It's because we are not exposing that injection. So in the core module, you might have all of these different things that you're injecting everywhere. So if I take a look at the core module, right now we have the menu registry, event bus, things like that, but we're not actually exposing that anywhere. So what we have to do is put here in the component itself, since we are using that as the dependency to the application, we actually have to tell it expose these particular beans. So that should fix that, I'm hoping. So whenever I was over here and it's like menu registry, I don't know of any menu registry because nothing's providing that. And now, since we're providing it here, we were able to continue. If I were to console log this menu registry, let's just do a simple paste, and it should show the object. But let's just make sure that our app is grabbing our shell, which we're not actually doing yet. So what I should probably do let's move all of the UI stuff over here. What is this? Oh, I got the wrong layout. Wow, the imports up there are kind of funny. This is why can't I see that? Layout, create. Okay, not sure why it wasn't working. Private final layout. Oh, need the actual type declaration. All right, there's a tree. Import that class. Then tree item. Let's import that class. Let's just go ahead and have a show method here. Layout show. There we go. And application, inject helper, provide application, get shell. And then we can do a shell.show. All right. Let's go ahead and rebuild that. I don't know if I need to restart the code server or not. But let me go ahead and try first without restarting the code server, see if that's enough. I didn't change any GWT XML or anything like that. And there we go. There's the menu registry. And because this is in the application, it was able to get the injection from the core because the application was able to see the core. All right, so we have that menu registry. Let's go ahead and implement some stuff. So in here, we're basically wanting, what are we wanting? We're wanting to be able to register something. So let's just go with something very simple. Let's just register a string, okay? So let's say that we have a list. I don't know what I'm typing here. Private list values, I guess menu items. There we go. And we can just make that final. public. Let's get menu items. Nope. Get menu items. Yep, that one. Of course, we want to do a collections.unmodifiable list because we don't want something on the outside being able to mutate something that shouldn't be mutated this way. And then we can do a public void register menu item. There we go. And whenever we do that, we can probably event bus, fire event. I don't really want to use this event bus long term. I think it's I'm not a big fan of it with the other GWT events, but it's good for the other time being. So we can do like a new change event maybe. Change event, and that's one of the reasons I don't like it. That's a native event, so I don't want to do that one. New value change event. There we go. That's a logical item, and it has a protected constructor. This, and what is the other value? Menu items is fine. Like I said, we're gonna change this later. All right, so the source, that is basically going to do that. Basically have to say that it implements a has value change handler of list of string. For now. Yeah. I don't know why it didn't do that right. There we go. So adding the event handler, we can do event bus, add handler. The type is going to be the value change, get type, and the handler is going to be handler. There we go. That's going to return the thing. So event bus, fire event, GWT event, and that's all we do with that. And that's probably about it. So what I can do is come over here and pull up these interfaces. I don't know what I just did. It just created a new class called list. That is not what I wanted. I wanted it to import class, not create a new class. And there's that. And you need to be able to register. There we go. All right. Oh, and we probably also need to be able to add our change handler. Just like that. All right, so then what we can do, right now we're just hard coding this stuff. What I want to do, I probably need to create this tree. Navigation tree. And this is going to be this.navigation tree equal to that. Is this generic? No, it's tree. Let's do a string. All right, so it's set but never actually called. What we want to do is in the menu registry, we can add a value change handler, event. There we go. And from there, we can either do menu registry, get menu items, or from the event, because of the fact that we made the event of a list of string, we can do tree dot clear. And then for each one of these, I mean, eventually we're going to have more to this than just a string, but this is just a proof of concept. Nope. Append tree item create, and right now we're just going to do a value. Yeah, that's almost behind my head. You should still be able to see it. All right. So of course, right now it's just still going to show these hard-coded ones. Hard-coded items will disappear on our first module. I don't want to create those as separate entries. You get the point. And there we go. So now we want to actually create some sort of module. Let me think real quick of some sort of module we can do. Maybe I don't want to do something complex, so let me switch my screen real quick, because I have a application that I'm thinking of using as a like a base general thought. That's probably easy enough. All right, so let's create one for notes. That was the wrong desktop. So let's go ahead and create a notes. But first, let's go ahead and close everything out. I am going to collapse that, and we're going to throw all of this stuff into app modules. We're going to do some of the old-fashioned way of doing the modules. Like I said before in last stream, we could do these as separate jars, but I really don't want to create a separate jar for every project. Do I? I mean, I might. The only issue with it right now is because of the fact that because of how the Thomas Breuer plugin works, just inheriting that module will automatically update the module to be inherited. So I don't want to do that right now. So at the time being, I'm probably just going to throw individual ones into this app modules, and we will take a look at how that works. Right now it's just as modules, and I'm not a real big fan of that data structure or directory structure. So let's go ahead and create a new package. com.vertispan.modularization. I know that I have module. But what if I just did modules notes, right? So that is the structure that I want. What I can do is copy. Nope, that's just going to copy that one directory. Ugh, I just didn't want to have to type this all again. And it's because in resources it's a directory structure. Vertispan modularization modules notes. All right, so under here, I'm going to create a file called notes, quit.xml. And I'm going to copy some of the stuff. Yeah. Entry point. Was it class? I think it was class. Need to look at one as an example. Yeah, class. All right, and this class, let's just create a notes. So what I might end up doing in the core, I might actually use a parent class for this. So under core, let's come in here, create a new class for a base module. And all of these are basically going to be entry points. But I want to change this to be final so that the subclasses can't do anything about that. And then what I want to do is create a protected abstract void on start. And this is going to get the core component pushed in. So then on start, core inject helper, provide core component, and that's it. So then down here, we could have this one extend base module, implement the on start. So this one, because each of these are going to have their own dependency injection, I should be able to create a new package here, IOC. It could be DI, doesn't really matter. So under here we have a notes component, module scope, and then modules, no, I cannot recall. I just did this a while ago. Component, oh, duh. And then you specify the modules in here, and this is going to be a notes module. This is going to be very similar to what we did on the application. So I should probably be looking at those instead, but here we have the modules, but then we also have dependencies, and this is going to be dependent on the core component. Okay, pretty simple. Let's go ahead and run the compiler. I might be able to use the IntelliJ build, but it's just as easy to double click on that. All right, so here, oh, swear I changed that to interface. All right, that worked. So under the notes entry point here, we have a notes component, or dagger notes component builder. core component because we had that dependency. And that's the core component that got pushed in. We can build that, and we can do inject this. So that is actually a kind of cool thing, because with that, we should be able to inject into the other running component or the other running class. And to do that, we actually need to create an inject method. I think oh, there it was. My notes are all scattered. Trying to think of where I put that. All right, so there's yeah, I guess that's as good as I'm going to get. So here we can do inject, and then that takes in the notes. Oops. Probably need to change this to something different, just to signify that it's the entry point. So now that we do this, we should be able to inject certain things. So if I have like an inject menu registry, that should be able to inject that. So if I console out this started notes module, and let's just go ahead and concatenate with the other menu registry. And right now it's not going to run because we haven't tied it in yet. That is just going to fail anyways. Let's figure out why it's failing. Oh. Yeah, here I'm going to try just running the other project build in IntelliJ and see if it generates the classes instead of double clicking on that. All right. And like I said before, we haven't actually inherited notes yet. So the way I'm going to do that for now, I'm just going to put it in here. And this is going to be com and then notes. Because I'm changing the gwt.xml, I think I do need to restart this process. Hopefully it releases the port that I'm binding to. I doubt it. Yeah. Address already in use. Let me give it a minute or so. All right, trying that. I'll be right back. right, so that is still having issue. Let's refresh it again. See if that has released that address or that port. There we go. Let's go ahead and refresh and see if it actually pulled in the notes module. Starting core module, new. Or wait. Am I depending on the app module? Let's see if we're actually getting the application modules. Don't know if we ever wired that in. Yeah, we got the GWT live for app modules. You know what? I think yeah, that's gonna be confusing. And that's not gonna work because of the fact that I used the same package. I'm going to change that to just be a single module instead of plural. Yeah, see, because whenever we have the other modules here, it's basically saying that the source path is the current. I mean, I guess that's okay. Yeah, that might be okay. Let's go ahead and put that back. And inside of the modules right here, let's not have a source path equals. Let's see what that does. Control F9. I think that built. Yeah. So that is inheriting from core and notes. Okay, cool. So it was actually able to automatically add this inherit line in here just because we were depending on that module through Maven. Let's close some of this stuff out. What do you mean under modularizing GWT modules? This is basically just using GWT modules. Well, the stream title should be module scopes, and this is with Dagger. I'm basically just creating an application using different scopes with Dagger for modularizing a web application. So basically creating multiple components in Dagger and using like children. I don't think it's called children. It's child components or subcomponents. just for handling all of the dependency injection. That doesn't seem to be pulling in the modules. Oh, there's the modules. Maybe I just need to do a clean. Because it's not finding my entry point for some reason. Let's just double check. So under here we have our notes squid XML and we have our entry. Oh, this is the wrong entry point. I swear I updated that. Alright, well that's going to be the issue. Probably trying to run the same entry point twice. Okay, yeah, that was my fault. There we go. And let's go ahead and restart that. Since we did change a GWT XML file, we kind of have to start the code server. Okay, come on. Eventually. Yeah, go ahead and clean up all of this stuff since we don't need it. Right now, all we're trying to do is have a, yeah, it's still having an issue. It's not releasing that port. Oh, this is a little different. Hold on. Finding entry point classes. That's weird. Yeah, I probably need a different name for this, but I don't want it to be confused with the dagger module. Maybe I should be calling these as plugins instead of modules. Base plugin. And let's change this to notes plugin. Inject notes, yep. Of course, I don't need to do those, but that's fine. I'll just do the refactor, and I'll just rebuild. Just to be certain, I should probably do a clean since I rename the class. It'll have some old artifacts that aren't cleaned up. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I can stop Jetty. And let's go ahead and run this. Regenerate all of the dagger classes. should be there by now. There we go. All right, so that did fail. Figure out why they failed this time. Well, I don't have any source for that module. Oh, it wasn't there. It was this one. Yeah, maybe I'll change this one. Let's change it. I don't know, modules. Main. I just don't want to have multiple modules pointing to the same package. There we go. Let's go ahead and start the code server up. Let's see if it will. And I'm assuming that's going to generate the proper structures. So if we look under here, we should see modules, and then we have main. And all this does is imports the other ones. Swear we did. Oh. So that was my fault the whole time. Source path equals empty. That was my fault. I forgot to specify the source path. By default, it wants to use client as the source package. Since I'm putting everything in the same package, I needed to tell it to use the same package. And start the Jetty. There we go, it started. Well, let's hope it all compiles. Because if this worked and we actually see that we are in the notes module, it's going to allow us to register a menu item with the menu registry. And the application side, even though they're on different scopes, they can't see each other. They can only see core. It'll get updated because of the event bus that's firing the event saying, hey, the registry changed. Here are the new values. All right, so started notes module, and it does get the same instance as we have over here. So you have the core module. Let me bring up, what is that called? Freeform? That's that Apple app. So this is basically what we have right now. So we have the main application side. Right now we have a shell here instead of that. So if I do shell, that's basically this right here. front. So we have a shell that is grabbing the menu registrations. Right now it's actually listening to it. I should probably do an initial fetch based upon order of operations. But then I have this guy over here, which is going to be my notes plugin. I'm calling them plugins instead of modules now, just to differentiate between my application modules and the Maven module. That's such an overloaded term. Probably should call them either plugins or features. I don't know. But then it has its entry point, which is basically subclassing the base plugin. Plugin. I don't know if I like that name. And it's basically going to say, hey, registry that was injected into me. I am going to register my stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. So now that we have this and we're injecting into this class, it's able to put the menu registry there, which is from the core component. So then the menu registry, we can register a menu item, notes. And again, at some point, this will be a little bit more complex than just registering a string. But this one should update the UI. No, it did not. That might be because of order of operations, like I said before. So let's open up our shell. Over here, we have our menu registry. Let's go ahead and create a field for that. And let's do something very simple, like private void date menu. And instead of event, we will do menu registry get menu items. There we go. And for the value change, we can just call update menu. And then we should be able to call update menu here as well, to be honest. Just in case the other menu items were put in there prior to this class being instantiated. And there we go. So we were able to drive the creation of this notes plugin just by having the dependency injection in a modular format. So that is very good. So that will allow us to do a lot of stuff. It allows us to have the application not even depend on the other modules. So if we wanted to, right now this is the full client. This is where I'm putting the main application, but I could implement this as a separate module, and its dependency is only the core. So it wouldn't have to depend on the other app modules. I might actually do that. Not during the stream, but I might, in between streams, I might split that off just so that we can see, because right now, of course, even though we're in the shell, we can do new notes plugin only because we have visibility into it. But once we separate that out and we have the dependencies like this, where they're all dependent on the core, and we would have the main module over here. Ignore that. So instead of function 1, we would also have like the main app. I used the wrong thing for that, but that's fine. Not a big fan of this tool. There are better ones out there. And that depends on the other core as well. And because of the fact that we don't have visibility in between these functions or features or whatever we want to call them, they can be implemented independently without clobbering anything else. We just have to have a rock solid API in between them. And just like most large applications, you would have some sort of plugin API. We can layer on like security and everything else in there. And based upon how we structure the Dagger application, we may be able to expose bits and pieces. So one nice thing, because of the fact that our core component, it's exposing the event bus, which I might change this one to a global event bus. Oops. Provide global event bus. And then the menu registry. This is basically saying these are the only things from my core module that I'm wanting to expose to anybody else. Even though I could have a bunch of other crap in the other module for different dependency injection, it doesn't have to expose that at all through the inversion of control. So that is really cool. Development-wise, we should be able to open up the module gwt.xml, this one, and by commenting out that line, I don't know if I have to restart the code server or not. Let me go ahead and just run compile real quick. Make sure it runs through the Maven plugin. Let's see if it changed anything. Yeah, see how it's not there anymore. And that was just by removing the declaration for this. Yep, still have to compile. Well, it's good that whenever I compile, it's able to update the gwt.xml. And whenever we refresh that, just because we added it... Ow. Spoke too soon. Yeah, it's probably requiring a restart. Let's see, we have the app modules. Let's just take a look at the generated source. Yeah, it has the notes in there. Yeah, I think anytime that you modify your gwt.xml, the code server needs to be restarted. Looks like it's able to handle some things, but not a lot. Here, actually, let's, yeah, it's unable to reattach itself to that port. While that's trying to release that port, let's create a new module. Let's just create an app client. I'll have to go through these and rename them. Project was migrated to the new faster Maven import. That's kind of interesting. I wonder what that is. Must be a new IntelliJ thing. Project was migrated to a new faster Maven import. Okay. And we probably want to copy most of this stuff from maybe modules. So let's hide that real quick. Let's hide that. go ahead and copy that part. Packaging. We can get rid of the properties. Let's go ahead and grab all of this crap. We'll change this here in a little bit. And let's just call this one main app, maybe. What did I call it in here? App. Yeah, maybe main app. All right, quit user, dagger, elemental. I mean, I might have a bomb or something so that we can put all this stuff together. App core, and it's relying upon GWT. And let's go ahead and copy over a module XML. And this will probably have its own entry point, which we haven't figured out yet. All right, and then the client. Probably need to update that POM. We have the core, we have modules. We want the app client. And that is a GWT. This will fail, but let's fail fast here. Oh, it was supposed to fail. Why didn't that fail? Main app. Okay. We're going to be moving some of this stuff over. I want to move kind of all of this to the app client. Apparently it's not going to do that. All right, so let's do this manually. Or maybe we can move this, move package. A different source route, and we're wanting to go to client. Continue. All right, so under here, we actually need to change package name. Ooh. Yeah, that kind of scares me. Let me just do that. Can I do that now? There we go. All right, so DOM global, that probably just means that we need, yeah, it's already there. entry point. And there's that one. And all of this is just to get rid of a lot of this stuff. So this is the main module. That's actually going to get the GWT compile. All right, so let's go ahead and let's stop all the servers. Let's clean, package this. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's not going to be visible anymore, which is perfect. And I need to get domino. So the domino dependency. Let's move this up so that it's more visible. I like to have application dependencies towards the top. All right, did that fix some of this stuff? Yeah, it looks like it did. Let's go ahead and compile that, make sure that all works. And this will be a good, a better test for the modularization approach, where we're using core as basically the middleman, so that we don't have to have dependencies back and forth between any of these modules, unless of course you're depending on those modules. So I've actually been wanting to write a blog on all of this stuff for the last few years, but it's a very difficult blog to write. I know of many applications that could have benefited from this plug-and-play type modularization, because the applications were just so large and you didn't really need to load everything. You only needed to load what you were working on and maybe like security and a couple of other things. There we go. I forgot to actually add the source line. Oh, that is app modules. What am I doing? I don't need a source path there. Let's ignore that one. I was in the wrong module. Let me close out all this stuff. I got way too many files open. Starting from scratch, let's go into here. This is supposed to have source path equals empty. Because this is going to be under main, let's just double check our POM. This is main app. Yep. Yeah. I forgot to restart because I modified the module XML. All right. While that's doing that, so let's define what our Maven modules are. So the app client is basically going to be the main user interface. Any of the common stuff might have some basic admin stuff for security, stuff like that. But then for each of the other modules, they can either be like this, where I have one main module that just inherits the other modules, or I have individual Maven modules for each plugin, which I need to stop using the word module. That is way too overloaded. Then we have the modularization client, and this is essentially going to be empty. And all this is going to do is be the place that we're doing the compilation. And this is compiling as a GWT app, a WAR file that gets overlaid onto server. Shared, this is basically just going to be shared between the server and the client. I can probably get rid of this one. Might have to do something different because there might be some shared types under like one of the modules for like data types, things like that. All right, so that did build. So let's go ahead and start up our servers again. And let's see if the Notes app, Notes module, Notes plugin, whatever we want to call it, actually executes this time. All right, there we go. Got the code server running. Let's start up Jetty. As soon as that starts, we can hit refresh. That'll do a GWT compile. All right, and we have our notes back. So that actually worked. And of course now, if I go back to my shell, here, I don't have access to the Notes plugin. So we have the Notes plugin, but because of how we did the dependency injection and the structure of our Maven modules here, we do not have access directly to the classes in that module. So it does keep it in more clean rooms for our modularization. So it really does go back to this sort of approach where we have our main client, our feature or our function, and they're just communicating through the core through a series of registries, any kind of demarcation point that we want to put in the other core where we can do any kind of communication back and forth. We can have some common APIs. We can even pull out like an API jar from this if we wanted to that had a lot of different types. It just really depends on how complex your application is going to be. So eventually, right now we're only doing these menu items with strings. Eventually, we're going to have something that's going to be clickable, and it's going to replace the main area content with whatever module that you had loaded. And there's nothing preventing us from subdividing modules with other modules. So for example, what if we had like a customer portal where we have like customer management as a main module, and whenever you click on that, it brings up like a tab viewer. Then you can search for a customer. It opens up that customer in a single tab. But because of the scoping of that particular module, it's scoped to that tab. So you can have singletons within that scope, and you wouldn't be able to see the singletons in a different tab. So that's actually kind of cool. Then you don't have to worry about any kind of data leak between customers, or if you're writing some sort of medical software with patients, you definitely don't want to have any kind of data leaks in between different tabs. So all of those could be in individual scopes, and then you don't have to maintain any collections of mapping of usernames to data structures and hoping that you don't mess it up. Everything would be running in a single isolation. So it would basically just look like this little plugin down here. How did we get that to be fixed before? I can't recall. Let me just double check my stuff here. Oh, we're not. Well, we are inheriting because of the fact that we have our POM dependent. Let me just double check that. No, wrong place. We need to do it from here. So here we need to have class equals. Oh no, not class. We need an inherits line. Name equals, and this is going to be com.vertispan.something core. Yeah, that was my problem. There we go. That fixed it. So then every time that you open up a tab, it'll basically create its own component, inject itself, and then it lives in its complete isolated world, which is very, very helpful. And with all of these, if I take a look at the notes component, this one, I'm using it as a module scope, which again, I should probably change the name of that to maybe a plugin scope. Probably makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, let's call these plugins instead of modules. So that'll make it a little bit easier. So there we go. I am probably going to call it shortly. I'm only an hour and a half in, but I was able to accomplish everything that I wanted to. I mean, we can, I guess we can try to make this a little bit more complicated. So rather than passing out a string in the menu registry, let's pass some sort of class that we can embed in the main widget. So let us menu registry. So let's figure out what this is going to do. So then once we get that, then I'll probably call it for the other day. I don't know what to call this stuff. Menu or navigation item. So that's really just a navigation item. String title, and we also need some sort of component, which could be like an is element. Is it elemento? I should probably commit the stuff before changing, moving forward. Huh, that did. I need to pull that up into the parent POM. In the dependency management. So we have elemental. So here we have elemento. It's where we had that through transitive, but I guess not. And of course we need to add this in our module.xml. There it is. And eventually we can also do something with URLs, but let's go ahead and just get this to work first. So let's just create some getters and setters for these. And let's go ahead and create a constructor. Work, and let's go ahead and do this as a collection of navigation item. I know that I'm going to have to replace the super class. Oh wait, the implementation, I guess I was in the super type. All right, so this is going to be navigation item. There we go. All right, and then let's go into the notes plugin. Because of the fact that we're doing this, we need to do a new navigation item with notes and some sort of element, and let's just do a button. Button. Create. Are we not... Oh, I swear I had domino in here. And I guess I need... domino. And it's probably easiest if I grab from this guy, domino. Let's just grab those two dependencies and throw them down here. And let's move up the app core to the top for visibility. Again, I like to have project dependencies at the top to make it easier to see. There we go. So now can I do a button create? Maybe have to re-import. There we go. Haha. There we go. So let's create just a notes button, just so that we can see something. All right, so let's go ahead and flush that. Let's go into our shell. That has to be updated now because it's no longer a string. We are, this is going to be a navigation item. Navigation item, got get label. And then add click listener. Let's try that. I think we made enough changes where we probably have to restart stuff, because we actually did change. Yeah. Oh, that actually worked without having to reload. Well, there we go. That worked. So we were able to basically create this module. We were able to set the center content to whatever that had. Eventually, I'll probably have. So if I take a screenshot of this, actually, let me take a screenshot of this. Let's go back over here to freeform. I'm going to paste that. Let's go ahead and just mark this up. Eventually, I'm probably going to have some contextual menus up here. So based upon whatever module or plugin that you go into, it would have some sort of menus that are related to it. So anytime you click on this, it'll replace this. I might have some life cycle to say, hey, whatever's currently there, can you close? Because there might be unsaved changes. And then up here, we'll have some sort of system tray kind of stuff. Maybe like the typical person. No, yeah, this will be fine. Let me add one of those. Whoa. This will be like your maybe a gear. Can I do a gear instead? Probably could use Figma for some of these designs instead of doing it like this. I like using Figma. All right, so there we go. So yeah, all of these will be driven from plugin registry. And I think that'll be good. So those are at least the other things that I'm planning on doing with all of this plugin stuff. And this is actually a good start to the application. I don't really need this stuff anymore because of the fact that it's automatically getting replaced anyways. And I don't need that console log anymore. And of course, we can do other injections. And that's one of the things that I talked about before with like the other core component, the core module. Instead of just providing a event bus like this, we should probably have like a named event bus. Let me see if I can remember how that's done. All right, so what if this were to provide a singleton named, and it just takes a string, let's just say global. So then if I wanted to, inside of my shell, we can either do like a named global event bus here, or we can have it inject into a field or a setter or something like that. But once you have this as a named inject, you have to name it over here. That would allow us to actually have multiple instances of an event bus, because you might want to have an event bus only for a module. So for example, back to the example that I was giving before, where we might have like a tab panel. I don't know how I'm going to draw the tab panel. Is there a tab panel? No, there's a table tennis. Oh, let's just come over here. Let's look at tabs. We'll take a screenshot of it. There we go. So if we have a tab panel here, let's say that you scope to each tab has its own scope. You can have an event bus that occurs just within that scope and a different event bus for each tab. And that's also different from your global event bus and so on. And that's the importance of being able to name them, because otherwise it's like, it'll say, hey, you already have an event bus being provided here. You can't provide the same type. So you actually have to differentiate them using a named annotation. So that works out really well, especially if we want to have that global event bus. So I'm going to remove that since I don't actually need it. And that actually worked. That worked a lot better than I was expecting. What other kind of application plugin can we get into? Let's eventually we're going to have like a CRM. So let's go ahead and create something for that. But first, I am going to commit all of this stuff. I need to uncheck that, because it's going to give me problems every time. I don't know why you have a git ignore there. Let's just get rid of it. I have a global one for the entire project. All right, so let's create a new one, a plugin specifically for CRM. And I might pre-pin these with plugin. Plugin CRM. Maybe app plugin CRM. And this is just giving an example of having a separate jar for this, for each plugin. And this is going to be packaging GWT lib. And I am basically going to copy a lot of the stuff from here. This is the app client. Get rid of those properties. I am going to grab all of that stuff. Let's just double check. We're depending on core, GWT user, dagger, elemental, domino. Yeah, like I said, I probably need to have a POM project, sort of like a bomb or something that I just inherit. Grab all of the dependencies that way. Here, modules, and this is going the modules. I'm going to change it to plugin. CRM. All right, and then here, oop, not that one. I'm going to copy that and paste it right here. And my entry point here is going to be plugins, CRM. Maybe I can do this plugin. What is the name of that? So this is under core base plugin, yeah. Unless I need to re-import my Maven stuff. Maybe that's the other problem. Import class, there we go. Implement, there we go. Plugin scope. And this is going to be a component, modules, and this is going to be CRM module, that class. Dependencies is going to be core component class. Okay. And let's go ahead and run a compile so that it can generate the other classes, and that'll create the Dagger CRM component. May only be applied. Oh, I keep forgetting that. It needs to be an interface, and I might as well just do like an inject here. So void inject CRM plugin. Just in case I ever actually need that. Let's compile that, and that'll generate all the classes for dependency injection. There we go. Dagger. Dagger CRM, right? Unless I have that component in wrong. Singleton component. Oh, that's right. Plugin scope component. Wonder if it's because I don't have access to it. That's weird. That should work. I mean, it should be in the class path, right? Okay, so it is in the class path. Let's see. What did I miss? That is the wrong project. I'm not sure why I have that get ignore there. Yeah, that should be it. All right, so I am going to open up the POM for the client. Maybe the modules, I might do it that way. And here I will do app plugin CRM. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is not building. Yeah, there's the Dagger CRM component. Dagger CRM component. Oh, there we go. Not sure why it wasn't working. So once you build, you can inject this, and that is ready to go. I can probably do something where I can auto-generate a lot of this stuff. Probably not really worth it at this point. And this guy, this one's going to be a little bit more complicated, and we'll probably need to create some sort of design for this off screen. But I should be able to at least yeah, let's go ahead and inject the menu registry. Register new navigation item, and this is going to be CRM. And for this one, I mean, I already used a button for the other one, but let's get something. Let's do an alert. Alert. Create. Some text from the CRM plugin. There we go. Hopefully that works. There we go. Probably have to restart. Yeah. Or wait, are we not even running that? Yeah, let me go ahead and stop those servers, redeploy. Might have to wait a little bit before I can run this, because I might have issues listening to that port. I need to figure out why that does that. I don't, like I said in the previous stream, I don't know if it's IntelliJ, it could be Java. I have no idea what is holding onto the bound port or address. Doesn't do it on the Jetty server. Makes me think that it's a code server thing. It just doesn't relinquish even though the process is killed. And hopefully this worked. We do not have... Did we add the entry point? So for the CRM... We have the CRM plugin. Let's check modules. I just want to see if it actually added the dependency. Yep, there's the CRM, there's the notes. And then the main compilation, we look at the generated app it looks at modules, core, and shared. And of course, main app. Why is it doing the main app? Yeah, that makes sense. Let's go ahead and clean. Maybe it just needs to recompile because we did add a new module in here. Change the class path. It probably has some old artifacts that are out of date from the previous compiles. So let's just do a full clean compile. I'll put this off screen so I can see it while I'm looking around at everything else. But that should do it. And assuming that it actually loads, I'm gonna have to spend some time cleaning up all of these structures, because it doesn't really make sense anymore, the naming that I had. Yeah, all of this should be correct. I can always put in a GWT debugger line in here so that we can stop at some sort of breakpoint. Still loading. Here it comes. There we go. CRM and notes. Of course, we can always make the menu item registry sort these things. Right now, I'm just holding them as a list. I can do it in a tree store that sorts on the title of the navigation item. It just so happened that these are alphabetical, but whenever I click on CRM, it adds this, which is the alert, but apparently I didn't make any particular type of alert. Let's do a success. So in here, alert success. That way we can at least see it. And again, I'll probably have some navigation life cycle. So if this can't be closed because it's like an unsafe form or something, I can prevent that. Otherwise, it seems to be loading just fine. And I could do something with these where they're not singletons. Right now, because of the fact that I'm registering it like this, where I'm actually giving it the other component, I should probably register it with a component supplier. A supplier? Yeah. Because then it would be lazy initialized. Right now it's eager. So if I had a full user interface here, even if the user doesn't click on the option, it would have the full user interface just sitting there in memory. We don't want that, so I should probably change this. Instead of passing it a component, it should be a supplier of an is element. So then it could be lazy initialized. But that does work pretty well. And obviously notes can't see CRM. So if I tried to do like new notes plugin, can't see that. You can see that, hey, you need to add a dependency. So all of the other plugins are separate. Don't have to worry about any kind of cross-contamination between these components. And that is the good thing about this type of modularization. That works out pretty well. I should probably collapse this whenever I click on it. That should be fairly simple to do. So let's come back over here to shell, set content, and then layout, hide left panel. And that was all done in the click handler. There we go. That works out pretty well. All right. I think it's just 2 hours in. I think that is going to pretty much cover everything that I wanted to discuss today in regards to modularization. And this is actually a really good structure that we can take even further and actually build a full-fledged application with this structure. Might be worthwhile in the upcoming stream. So yeah, I'll probably do that whenever we come back in the next stream. It might be tomorrow, might be Friday, not sure. I'll try to make it a point to stream tomorrow, and I'll just have to have content ready to go with. But otherwise, thank for everybody that hopped on by, and have a great evening. Take it easy.